they had the trucks come out, but then it was like the shots from the helicopters and the aerial shots and just all the kind of manic craziness. Then it would cut to like tight shots of them driving. You could really feel being inside those cars and how tight and claustrophobic it was. I thought it was a really well choreographed final sequence, and it was a great surprise the way they shot it, where it turns out it was Tej and Suki in the cars, and then obviously the two guys were in the muscle cars going down at the Keys. Because I remember watching this the first time going, you cannot drag race in the Keys. You cannot go 100 miles an hour down US 1 in the Keys. Like I was like, the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, you're going to insult me a little bit if you're trying to convince me that you can drive down a 2-lane road with 8,000 cars. And the way they set it up was so brilliant that everyone went one way, and it's just the two of these guys in muscle cars driving down the Keys. I'm like, this gets back to your point. There were so many things I kept thinking, okay, this is where the cheese factor comes in. And they actually thought through the plot and made it work. And I thought it was just really, really well done.
The only part that hurt me about that scene is when the monster truck murders the cop. That monster truck, doesn't it run over the car and just stay there?
Yeah, I guess you just kind of like go with the flow with that. Like, all right, he's probably okay. Like normally,
yeah. You're right.
Like, okay, he probably broke an arm, But yeah,
remember
the one in the opening drag sequence, which always drives me crazy when he drives backwards, and he like. Why don't we get refocused on the job at hand instead of screwing around? They almost missed the exit. Like, how would the movie have gone if Brian had missed that exit? That would have meant that the other guys would have gotten to the Ferrari first, because these two were hot dogging it out on the highway, and those other guys would have got to the Ferrari first. Like, they wouldn't have been like on the job. They wouldn't have gotten the job.
Oh yeah, and that's what I love about these characters. Brian gets caught. He almost misses the exit. Their jump at the end. They fly in the car and they're about to get killed. Roman's acting like a brat the whole time because Monica likes Brian more. I like how they make him just look kind of dumb. Not dumb, but human.
What I also liked is when the car landed, it wasn't like they just like jumped out like John McClane in Die Hard. It was like, like they were like hurt. Like Roman broke his arm. It looked like Brian had a concussion. It was really Monica that came out and put the gun to Cole Hauser, because Cole Hauser comes over, Carter Verone. I don't know. I like there was like a little believability in something that was completely unbelievable in that jump. But then the fact that they were actually injured on it, it was like, okay, I can buy it. I'll go with it.
And then in Fast and Furious 4, Vin Diesel gets shot in the shoulder and forgets about it. So this series goes along. Gets a lot different. But also, I love the way they filmed that scene. So they had that yacht, but they took everything out of the car and they put a dummy car on the yacht. But then they went in a huge parking lot outside of a stadium and had this giant car on a rig smashing into a fake boat that they built. So it's pretty cool how they did the whole thing. Very expensive, but it's not a cheeky gag. They had to do a lot of work to get that. But no, you're right. They were injured. You would be injured, Sean. If you and I did that, we'd probably fall after 20 feet. But, I mean, let's go get on that boat and we miss it.
You and I were doing it. It'd be like it's Starsky and Hutch. We missed the boat altogether.
There's no ramp. There's just no ramp. And so you and I just fly into the water.
Yeah, the car would just go off the road right into the water.
I love it that they got hurt. I think they put a lot of work into that jump. I like it. I also like the race against the muscle cars, about how Roman messes up, and it's up to Brian to save the day. And I love when that guy starts revving his engine and Tyrese's smile fades. I love it. And then I like the muscle car guys. They're like, oh, where'd you get those matchstick cars? He's like, yeah, funny one, Fonzie. Like that. And how about the wrist bracelets that the forearm bracelets that people are wearing? It's so 2000s, man. I love it. And the East Side, West Coast choppers.
It's so much fun. The series, all the movies have their own wonderment to them. They're all fun, but they just grow way too serious. The franchise becomes like a little too serious, which is fine. I mean, I enjoy them. I'm not what captures me is kind of, we come to the end of this, is 2 and 3 just capture, like, what you always talk about is why you go to the movies, why it's fun. It doesn't have to be, ordinary people every time you go to the movie theater. It doesn't have to be
Kramer versus Kramer.
Kramer versus Kramer. It can be fun. And look, the series is, it's made $8 billion. It's a franchise unlike anything we've seen in recent times as far as a new, outside, I guess, maybe Marvel. So it clearly has struck a nerve and a chord. But what makes 2 and 3 so much fun is they really just capture the fun, the colors, why you like sitting back when we could in a dark theater and watch movies, because these later ones, man, they're 2.5 hour commitments. I mean, they are serious stories with lots of complicated plot lines. And you're like, okay, what just happened? What I love about Too Fast, Too Furious, you don't have to really think. You can just sit back and enjoy it. And low stakes, it's great. And I encourage everyone out there to go just give it a rewatch and stop comparing it to 5, 6, 7, and 8. Just watch it for what it is. It's great. It's fun.
It's 100 minutes long. It's beautiful.
We don't have enough of those. Yeah. Everything's got to be a 2 hour, 45 minute, commitment. It's your whole day.
I love it when I do a podcast and I see that the movie's 90 minutes. I'm like, yeah. But no, I'm glad you joined me on this. I really enjoyed your commentary while watching all the Fast and Furious movies. So before we leave, just give me a ranking of all 9.
Well, I will say when I first did this, 2 was really low, because at first, when you watch them like I did, like 1 through 9, you kind of get sucked in a little bit to the evolution of it. You're just like almost like kind of caught up in the next story, what's going to happen next, what's happening next. So, but in retrospect, I still would say 5 and 6 are still kind of the masterpieces of the franchise. But then I would literally go 2, 3, 1. I think 1 is great. I think it really set a great tone. 2 and 3, we've talked about it here. I mean, I would do a Tokyo Drift one with you, man. I mean, I just think 3 is just so cool. Some of the shots in that. And then we get into, 4 was the reset. I think that's the weakest of the franchise. And then, kind of like, I don't know if we put Hobbs and Shaw in there. I'd put Hobbs and Shaw right there at the top end. But I think the later ones are, to me, the weaker ones. The 8 and 9. They're fun. They're big, fun, expensive movies, but they're just a little overly serious.
Yeah, and they murder that woman, the baby, the mom.
That one's a problem.
Yeah. And, you know what? Megan got really mad about that, because in the 5th one, she's this really cool cop. And the 6th one, Dom's like, see you later, Letty's alive. And then the 7th one, she becomes this great agent and then in the 8th one, they just kill her because they got to get her out of the way because Letty's back.
Well, it's like almost the definition of fridging. Like, we're really going to get rid of you.
Yeah.
This isn't even like Deadpool. Like, we'll bring you back like in a heaven sequence, to bring out, like, this is like goodbye. Thank you for helping evolve Dom as a human being. Now get the hell out of here.
Exactly. And the 8th didn't need that character development, right? It didn't need it.
Themselves up in the stakes, but it didn't need it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But no, well, thank you for joining me, man. This was a lot of fun, and I would absolutely do Tokyo Drift with you. I adore that movie.
Yeah, I think you were shocked when I first watched it, and I was telling you, like, I don't know, man. I just keep like watching this 3. I like watching this Tokyo Drift, and you were like, I'm so happy to hear that.
Dude, Han's so cool. I love that. Like, I'm telling you, I just like different. Like, we see so many of the same faces, locations. I love movies that just give me something different. I don't know. Those are all my favorite. But yeah, no, well, thank you for joining me, man.
Thanks so much, Mark. I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, I love it. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Sean Alvashire, who's still not looking at the computer, very impressive. This is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.